We're going live. We're live. We are live on the air. Stock Markets with Bruce. How you guys doing out there? It's Bruce here with Stock Markets with Bruce for a Friday afternoon. Are you having fun with GameStop today? Noon my time, 2 in the afternoon Eastern time. I think we're in the last hour of trading or so, give or take. What a day for GameStop yet again. Unbelievable developments here. There's just all kinds of news coming out on GameStop. And I'm live. There's a commercial playing on my channel, so I'm on the air, baby. Yeah, unbelievable what's going on out there with GameStop today. The volume is massive right now with an hour to go in the day. I'm looking here at 135 million shares traded right now, a little more than that. There are only 51 million shares free trading. You can just imagine the turnover that's going on here. Unbelievable. The shares were as high today as 76.76. Trading right now at 56.66. They're off 20 from their high. They're still up 13.60 on the day. It'll be an interesting thing to watch here as we go into the last hour. We have options expiring today, call options, put options. There's just untold amount of speculation going on with respect to this stock. But the bottom line is simple. There are 71 million shares shorted, roughly. There's only 51 million that can possibly trade. And the reality is we have a short squeeze going on here. There are more shares shorted than exist. Here is a little chart for you. If you watch my videos on Stock Markets with Bruce, you'll notice that I have put this little chart up here from time to time. And it just shows you the GameStop short interest as a percentage of the float that's out there. And over here on the far left, it's back to 2002, 2004. There weren't that many shares shorted. Back in 06, they were kind of 20, 40% of the float. Then it dropped again in 08, 9, and 10. But then starting in 2010 until 12, 14, 16, even 2018, it sort of hung in that 20 to 40% range of the free float. Keep in mind, there used to be a lot more shares outstanding in GameStop than there are now. The company has bought back millions and millions of share certificates. And take a look at the chart here, right in the middle, right around 2019, in between 18 and 20, you can just see the rise straight up. It hit 100% of the float, and now 140% of the float. What a lot of people don't know, and it isn't talked about that much on the YouTube videos that I'm watching or on the chats out there, but some of you guys know of this. Some of these people who are posting mention it, but not many. GameStop bought back approximately 34.5 million shares of its outstanding stock in the last couple of years at an average price of $5.14 a share. Think about that. They bought back their own stock at an average price of $5.14. They're looking pretty smart right now, aren't they? At the time they were doing this, there were critics all over the place going, you know what, you guys, you're a brick and mortar operator. You're losing market share. You're not selling as many systems as you used to before. What are you guys doing buying back your stock when your business plan is clearly failing? Well, these guys are thinking, you know what, we're worth more than $5.14 a share. We're worth more than that. We think we're going to be worth a lot more than that. We'd rather put our money, our excess cash that we have lying around, into the stock of our company, buy it all up, and let's take our chances. Well, it's kind of working out. Outsiders who were watching this were thinking the same thing. They're going, you know, if the management of the company is putting company money on the line to buy back the stock down here at these low prices, maybe we should join the party. Take a look at this chart here. This is a chart from 2010, 15, and 20. So the last 10 years, the shares were between $15 and $30 a share from 2010, 11, 12, 13. Then they had a bit of a run in the 2014, 15 range. They got into that 45 to 60 range, and then into that 36, 35 to 45 range, and then ultimately at around 2016 or so, the bottom began to become evident. We just saw this long, slow, deteriorating drop until 2020 when the shares reached, they did hit $2 and something cents a share, I believe, 257 in the last year. Briefly, most of the trades were in that $3, $4, $5 range, but you can just see how far down this stock came over all that time. Here's a chart for you. Sorry for how small this is. This is off my cell phone. This is a chart from 2000, roughly. If you take a look right there, 2000, and you'll notice how it went into the 60 range, or that was about a $56 peak in 2006, then crapped out in 2007, 8, 9, 10, then back for a little ride again in 12, 13, 14, and then a big drop down. And now look at the run here at the very end on this side. Look at that. That's just in the last couple of weeks. Is this crazy or what? Unbelievable. Here, of course, is today. This is as of about half an hour ago from my phone. And this is just today's action alone. This is the last week where the shares were in the 40 range, 30-something range. They were just 37 yesterday for a brief period of time. Here's the last month. You can see from the 22nd of December on the far, here we go, in this area right here. That's December 22nd. Down in this, $10 range, then got to 20 and 18 and back. And then look at what happened on the 12th and the 19th. And here we go. We have just taken off. It's just unbelievable. As I'm speaking to you right now live, the stock is $58.23 a share. It has traded now 135.5 to 136 million shares, up $15 a share. Absolutely stunning what is happening with the company shares. Absolutely amazing. Welcome those of you who are joining me here today. It looks like about 45 of you so far here. This is great. Welcome. This is my first ever dedicated live show for Stock Markets with Bruce. This channel is my second YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel is right here, Traveling with Bruce. This is my big channel. I have 61,000 something subscribers on this channel, and I've done over 17 million views. I love talking about cruise ship vacations and cruise ship news and all the stuff going on there. But I also love talking about the markets and what's happening with the business side of everything, including travel and the markets in general. And so I created Stock Markets and Bruce with Bruce this past summer. And one of the first videos I made, I started talking about GameStop when it was about $4.50 a share, $4.80 a share. And I noticed how unbelievably shorted the stock was versus the price of the stock. I couldn't believe the stock was down at $4 something a share with a ridiculous number of shares shorted. I couldn't understand how this worked. I couldn't figure out why would there be more shares shorted than exist. Things have changed. I used to be a stockbroker. I used to be a branch manager of a brokerage firm. I was a VP of a brokerage house here in Canada. I once took a company public as a president of a public company. So I've done it all. I've been an investor. I've been a broker. I've been a VP of a brokerage firm, which means I had 50 brokers I had to whip into shape and get to work. Then I took my own company public, and I had to play that end of the market. I've done it all. I've seen every angle there is to see, and I will admit things have changed. I was a broker back in 79, 80 until about 87. I took a company public into the 90s, and I even lived in the Cayman Islands for a number of years as an offshore asset manager. So I've been just all over the place and seen the market from a whole lot of different angles. But this story here just captivated my attention when I began to realize, oh my gosh, the short position is ridiculous. Back in the day when I was running a public company and I was running, the brokerage company, when I was running the branch that I was in charge of, you could short stock back then, sure, but you had to be able to borrow it like you do today, theoretically. But it was a lot different back then because you had to actually have the physical certs, the certificates, to hold a short position. Otherwise, you'd be bought in. And we used to get monthly reports from the transfer agents telling us what the short positions were. For me and the public company I ran, a little tiny thing, we could get reports anytime we wanted, but we usually got a monthly printout. And they would mail it to us. That's how urgent it was. They'd mail it to us, and a couple days later we'd get our report. And we'd notice, oh yeah, 1% of our stock is shorted, 99% of our stock is, held. And we'd find out how many certificates were printed the last month, which people wanted, who wanted physical stock certificates, who didn't. But what I remember as a stockbroker back in the 80s was if there was a short position, a heavy short position on a company, one of the defense mechanisms public companies used in those days is that they would find out how many shares would be shorted, and they would be alarmed if it was very high. They would then contact their favorite brokers, their loyal stockbroker, contacts, and they would know, oh yeah, Merrill Lynch has got 5% of all the shares shorted is Merrill Lynch, or this outfit, 15% of all the shares are shorted through that outfit, or 30% of all the shares are through this outfit over here. So they would quickly figure out, the public companies, where the shorting is coming from, and then deduce who's doing it. But they would call their local, their favorites, and they would say to their buddies at Merrill Lynch, hey, look, you guys have got 45% of all the stock that's outstanding in your books, because we use you guys for all of our work, all of our fundraising, all of the directors have accounts with you guys, a lot of our insiders, we all have accounts. Here's what we want to do. We want to screw up the short sellers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to request that we transfer all the shares we own out of our margin accounts and put them into cash accounts so that you can't borrow against them. They're not marginable. That was one trick we would use. Another trick these guys would use would be to order the certificates. So the president of the company and the directors and then the brokerage firm friends of the company, they would contact shareholders and they would say, hey, look, Mr. Jones, I noticed you own 10,000 shares of GameStop, back in the 80s. Let's pretend. And there's a heavy short position, which is hurting your stock ownership. There's people betting against your company. You're a fan of the company. One way for you to help your company is to order your stock certificate. I've got a letter here for you. It's all written up. All you got to do is sign it. We'll courier it over to your office right now. Just sign this authorization telling the transfer agent to print a stock certificate for you, and we'll deliver it to your broker. And so sign it, send it back to us, and we'll take care of it. You'll get a certificate delivered to your office in the next week to 10 days. And so a whole bunch of stock would be gobbled up for certification. I can't say it. But a whole bunch of stock would now be taken out of brokerage accounts. And these shorters all of a sudden got short covering calls because the stock they were borrowing is no longer borrowable anymore. It disappeared from the face of the earth because it was turned into stock certs. The certs were delivered to the customer's hands. And so we had shareholders out there that all of a sudden just held their stock certificates in their hands. There was a short squeeze. Up went the price of the stock because the shorters had to buy in, and there were no sellers because the owners weren't selling. They just took all their certs. They just moved the shares from their margin accounts to their cash accounts. You can't borrow against them. And the stock went up in value. And the shorters got creamed, as it were. And this is done on miniature little battles through the years and the decades, back in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. But nowadays, everything is computerized and digital. It's all digitized. And what you have now is you've got GameStop here trading, what is it now, 100, whatever, gazillion shares a day, like insanity number of shares trading per day. And it's all digital. I mean, how can you have 135 million shares trade on a day when there's only 51 million shares that could possibly trade? How does that? Well, it's turnover. It's turnover. There are short sellers who got bought in this morning. They got bought in probably at $50, $55 a share. They just turned around and reshorted it at 60. Then they got bought in again. Maybe they bought themselves back in at 64, and they shorted again at 68. Then they bought themselves back in because they got panicky as it kept going up. It got all the way to 76. I bet you there are guys out there, traders out there, who are short GameStop right now between $70 and $76 a share, and they're sitting here at 58 going, making all kinds of money. Yeah, they're making money on that trade as long as they can get out of it. But the fact remains that there are still 70 odd million shares shorted versus 60 odd million that exist long. You add the 69 million shares that exist roughly and the 71 million that are short, you got 140 million shares in total, if I got my math right? There's 140 million shares being held right now by long traders, people who believe the shares are going higher. That's 140 million shares of ownership out there, and 71 million of it is short. Is it any wonder the stock's up $15 today? Options are expiring tonight at the close. There's all kinds of options traders that are getting creamed. Others are making money. Some are losing. Many are losing. Many are winning. But there are shares behind the certificates that are involved, and there's probably short squeezing going on there as well. It is an unbelievable thing going on here. The amount of money that's changing hands right now on GameStop is unthinkable. The entire value of the corporation back in June, July, the so-called market cap of GameStop was about $5 a share. There were 60-something million out, 69 million out. The company was worth $350 million. The whole company was market capped at $350. Right now at 58.32 multiplied by 70 million shares, you're at almost $4 billion market cap for this thing right now from 350 million. Oh man, there's some serious money going on here. The short sellers, I don't care how you slice and dice this. The stock is up $15 a share, which it is right now, times 71 million shares outstanding. These guys are down $1 billion right now. Today, the short sellers are down collectively $1 billion right now in today's trading session. They got to wait it out this weekend. They're going to be sitting at home fretting. What are we doing? What am I going to do Monday morning? What's going to happen Monday morning? What's the first trade of the day when we start trading here? How's it going to close between now and the bell? It's now 12 so 2:16 Eastern. We got, 40 odd minutes to go. It just hit $60 again. It's now at 60. So I was talking to you a few minutes ago at 55. It came on the air. It's now at 60. It's gone up $5. That's another 350 million in losses for short sellers. This is just not going away. Don't be surprised if management of the company makes several moves in the next little while. If I were Ryan Cohen and the other board of directors, I would be in the intense discussions right now with brokerage firms to look at the possibility of issuing stock from the Treasury at these levels up here or higher. Not that I want to give short sellers a break, but I want to take advantage of this wonderful little price move. 61.40 for the stock, by the way. You just want another $1.40 while I'm talking to you. I would be looking at issuing, say, 5 or 10 million shares in little batches at these current prices. If you could drop 10 million shares at $60 a share, or $600 million, just like that. And a week later, 2 weeks later, another 5-10 million shares, $70-$80 a share. If it wants to go there, it's another 700-800 million bucks. 10 million at 90, 900 million more. The debt they have is gone. It'll be a memory. No one will care about the debt because it'll be so inconsequential how much cash they're sitting on. I think that it's possible that they might be in discussions now to sell off their retail divisions in Australia, Europe, and the UK. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if they were to do that. They might sell it to investment groups that will keep the name GameStop over there, or whatever they're calling themselves. I know in Canada they're known as EB Games. They might be selling off these retail divisions to work maybe a franchise licensing agreement of some kind where they're just going to take their money off the table and sell. So they'll help them acquire merchandise to sell at the retail divisions. But this company, I think, is going all the way or way over to the e-commerce side of the equation. They're going to go from being a full-blown retailer, bricks and mortar, to maybe keeping maybe 1,000 stores in North America, Canada, the USA, perhaps. Every month that goes by the way, the leases are expiring at all these shopping malls that they have all their stores in globally. I mean, every month, these leases get older and they're not renewing leases. Why would you sign a new 5-year lease with a shopping mall right now in the middle of a pandemic? You're not doing it. And you're certainly not going to do it at the price you paid for the last 5 or 10 years. Not a chance. So landlords are coming to GameStop and finding out what their expression of interest is to renewing a lease and at what rate. GameStop is in total control of their future, whether they even want to be in the retail space or not. In the last holiday season that we just had, Of all the sales that GameStop had, 34% was from e-commerce. 303% increase from the year before. It was just massive. This will continue. I think that 2/3 to maybe 3/4 of all sales of GameStop in a year from now will be e-commerce, and it's going to be substantial. Keep in mind, though, to sell a Sony PlayStation online from a warehouse out of Texas or Mississauga, Ontario in Canada, you just have one location. You just have one shipping department. You have one place to receive the merchandise, to catalog it, inventory it, and then to ship it back out, like Amazon. Maybe you'll have more than one warehouse, like I said, between Canada and the US, but it doesn't matter. Right now, they're bringing merchandise into their warehouses and then distributing them out to 5,000 locations. You know what the cost is for that? It's ridiculous. The 5,000 locations have employees have to unbox them, handle them, and then sell them and turn them out, and they got to pay rent at every location that they're selling these systems at. You go e-commerce and you reduce your retail locations to maybe 1,000 of your best performing locations, dump the other 4,000 by selling and offloading them and not renewing leases, you're actually improving your margins, because your cost of doing business will drop precipitously, and this improves your profit margins. These guys here are on a plan, I think, over a couple of years, 2-3 years, where they're going to dramatically improve their return on equity. They're going to have tremendous marketing opportunities, and their website. Remember, there are all those members, the GameStop Plus members, millions of them. This website is going to become a gamer's experience. It's going to become a very positive place for gamers to want to go to. They'll be kept abreast of the latest information. There might well be tournaments run through the website. It'll just go on and on. But the amount of money that GameStop is going to make from advertising revenue from their own website is another income source that virtually no one has been talking about. I've read a little bit about it here and there. I think these guys have got a whole new way of doing business going forward, and they will not have to worry about Amazon or Best Buy as competition. As gamers, some gamers will shop and buy a system for the absolute cheapest price they can get it for, but a majority of the gamers that are playing on the systems that GameStop is selling, the games that GameStop is distributing, these folks, the perception is that they're all unemployed and they're living with mom and dad in the basement. Wrong. Wrong. Every day that goes by, the average age of the gamer is rising. And there are gamers out there who are not as old as I am. I'm 65. I'm an old guy. There are now 30, 35, and 40-year-old gamers who've been gamers all their lives. And these guys have jobs, mortgages, and car payments, and they've got cash flow. And they're going to go where they get treated the best. And they're going to find that if you go to the GameStop website with Ryan Cohen and his gang now handling GameStop's online presence and completely changing it out, it's going to become as friendly as the Chewy website was for pet lovers. And I think that this company is going to generate all kinds of revenue from all these other income sources, including the website. So lower expenses, lower number of employees overall, lower number of area managers, lower distribution costs, lower everything, higher margins, higher volumes, I think. The support of Microsoft already paying GameStop for online selling. I think the partnerships that are going to be done between GameSoft and the gaming companies and the distributors and producers and manufacturers of the systems is going to be a wonderful thing. And I think the shorters out there are shorting what they thought was a brick and mortar company. They thought they were shorting a brick and mortar company. But no, they're now figuring out, oh my God, we're not shorting a brick and mortar company. We're shorting an e-commerce up-and-comer with 45 million visitors to its own website in the last 6 months. It's massive. You know what the cost, a lot of you know this, some of you don't. The cost for e-commerce, for anyone new, the big cost is the acquisition of clients. You have to give away all kinds of deals and promotions to get people to sign up for, give me your email address so I can market you. GameStop has millions and tens of millions of customers' emails. They know all of their buying and selling habits. Every time they've bought and sold in the stores, they've been getting their email addresses. And of course, online, GameStop is already set up for e-commerce. That whole cost factor is off the table. GameStop doesn't have to worry about that. A competitor to GameStop would absolutely have to pay millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions maybe, to get to where GameStop is right now with their e-commerce platform. And it's only just begun. So don't fret if you see your local GameStop store or EB Games with a going out of business sale. Don't worry, they're not going out. The company isn't going out of business. The retail stores are being shut down because they're not performing or they're too expensive to run. The company itself is getting richer every time it shuts down another store. And this is why I'm convinced they're going to sell off. They might end up franchising out a bunch of their U.S. stores to regional franchise ownership groups. But then again, we'll wait and see. They've got the ball game is in their hand. They've got it absolutely available to them any way they want. $59.89 is the price of the stock right now, just hovering around the $60 mark. I keep looking at my big ass. I have a big ass iPad here. I mean, this thing's huge. I got my big ass iPad here. I keep looking to see what the volume change is because my volume button seems to be stuck. I'm just going to double check here on my phone. I've got stocks up here. And looking at GameStop, I'm showing 155 million volume now. That's triple the entire public float of the company in one day. That just to kind of let you folks in on what's going on. The shorters are desperately trying to short stock right here. They're trying to stop it. They're trying to stop this stock from going higher by just emptying their chamber and reloading it. But they've been losing money all day doing it, except for some of those who got out earlier today. But if this stock has a late market rally, they're all going to panic again. It doesn't matter what happens to the stock between now and the close. The bottom line of it all is that the stock will be the talk of the internet all weekend long. Wall Street Bets and all the other sites out there, YouTube channels like mine and others, there will be a ton of info shared with the investment community out there as to what's been going on with this stock. A lot of folks who follow GameStop casually but not intently, they have no idea what it's doing today because they haven't probably checked their phone. Maybe they'll get a tweet from a friend going, have you seen your GameStop today? Do you know what you're doing? There's going to be a lot of reflection over the weekend, a lot of speculation, a lot of guesswork going on. But at the end of the day, if a stock like GameStop is going to trade 2 times, 3 times its entire float every day that it trades, there's only one direction the stock is going, and it's higher. It's not going lower. Because again, shorters can only sell what they can borrow. And something's telling me a lot of short sellers are going to find out in the near future they can't hold the positions they have. And the stock will just go higher and higher and higher to convince people who are long to give it up. If you're a long stock on GameStop and you're asking me what you should do, I would sit tight and not offer any stock for sale. If you can stand it. If you can't stand it, if it's killing you, if you're long at $10, 12, 20, 25, even $30, you may want to sell a third of what you got, maybe half. Take all your money off the table and sit on the rest for free. It's called house money. But longs don't have the same issues that short sellers have. Short sellers have one problem on their hand. Their losses can be unlimited. A long buyer, someone who buys stock in GameStop, or any share, you can only lose what you put into it. And you got to ask yourself, yesterday, this guy was on the Twitterverse talking about, you long fellows, you folks holding the stock, you better be careful because it could go right back to $20 a share any old time. To me, I found it interesting that this short seller is talking about the stock going back to 20 when it was only $5 a share back in the summertime. If 20 is the new low, that's quadruple what it used to be. This is a win for anyone who's long because there were 70 million shorted when it was $5 a share. Now the short seller is saying it might go to 20. The day after he says that, it's at 60. So It's not going to 20 today. I don't think it's going to 20 on Monday either. I think there is so much news to come out on GameStop from management. Their fourth quarter financials will come out. They'll then have their conference calls. They'll talk to the brokerage community. I have a feeling that there's going to be so much cash available to this company from investment groups, hedge funds, and everything else that the shares will just go higher. And there will not be enough stock for the shorters to get out at lower prices. I'm sorry to say. So there you go. Anyone buying puts? Ooh, I don't like your chances. Again, there are day trade opportunities. I will grant anyone that. Any stock that moves 5 or 10% of its value in one day, there are long and short and call and put option possibilities. But if you want to invest in GameStop and not be twitchy, twitch in the middle of the night, kick your partner, buy the stock, go along, and just put it away. Just sit and wait and watch the show like I'm watching the show. I don't own any shares of GameStop. For those of you who are wondering out there, am I a shill? Am I a pro trader? I am not. I have no shares in GameStop. I have no options. I'm not a long player. I'm not a short player. I have no stock in any company whatsoever. I'm a guy that loves talking on YouTube on 2 channels, Traveling with Bruce and Stock Markets with Bruce. And I earn my living being a full-time YouTuber. I talk on YouTube on both of my channels. I earn advertising revenue from the ads that you see before my videos, or in some cases in the middle of them, or sometimes after. The banner ads you see, those are all done by YouTube, and I get my little sliver. But I also do enjoy, from the generosity of my viewers, donations that come my way, whether they're super chats on live shows, or what I prefer from my viewers and my diehards on Traveling with Bruce. They know this. I have a PayPal account, a donate button for PayPal, where people send me donations there. And what's beautiful about that for a YouTube creator like myself is a donation made to my channel or made to me through PayPal. I get about 96 to 98% of the funds. It's instantaneous. I can literally go to the bank machine the next morning and withdraw it if I wanted to. Whereas a super chat donation, which I don't mind getting super chats, they take as long as 6 weeks for me to get the dough, because YouTube collects the money on behalf of the creator. They take 30% for themselves, give 70% to yours truly, and then I have to wait to the 21st of each month before I get paid for the month before. So a donation made to me today on any of my channels through YouTube is a January donation, and that will be paid out Feb 21. And so that's how that works. Whereas a PayPal donation is instantaneous, and it hits my system within hours or minutes, really. So all of you out there, if you've made a fortune on GameStop, way to go. I think you can make even more. And if any of you feel particularly generous, thank you so much in advance. The thing I also like about PayPal is it's anonymous. People make a donation to me. They don't want the world to know, and that type of thing. I couldn't be happier. And again, I am thrilled for all of that. Thank you. The PayPal donate button, I think, is on my About section of all my channels. And you just follow the prompts and away you go. All right, let me say hi to a few folks. If any of you got questions, fire away. Citron can't stand losing money. It's so fun and funny to see it happen, says Arnold. Arnold, welcome, buddy, to the show. I doubled my money in GameStop in a week because of you, says Keyring86. Thank you, Arnold. A little payback. There hurt many shareholders in other stocks. I didn't buy any when Bruce mentioned it around 4.5 last summer. The money I had tied up was other things at the time. I wish I'd found a way then. I'm glad a few others did, though. Keyring, what did you get out of? When did you get in? When did you get out? Wow, I just looked at it. 75 not long ago. Insane. Bruce just foresaw that. Kirk Brunson is in the house from New York City. How you doing, buddy? Hi, Bruce. GameStop is driving me crazy. I got in at 375. Or is that 37.50 still holding? I was up 97% earlier today. Well done. Joseph, all the shorts certainly didn't manage to cover. There's no way. It's $37. She paid $37, and she's doing just great. Sharon is here. Hi, Bruce. Hey, Sharon. Robert Blend. Hi, Bruce. Sold 50% at $75 a share. Way to go. If it goes down here, you can buy it back or wait till Monday morning, buy some more again. Whatever you want to do. Nikki, good afternoon. You called it, Bruce. Thank you, Nikki. Amari, I'm holding, Amari says. Joseph, holding all of it. On Flapmish, I am absolutely hyped. GameStop to $100 to 1,000 this year. I've called it to 100. I figured it would reach 100. A lot of analysts and other amateur callers are saying it's $100 a share. It could go much beyond that. It really could. It all depends on what the plans are for management. What do they have in mind? Joseph says, I sold 2 calls. Eamon, hi, Bruce. How you doing, Eamon from Ireland? Harm, what do you believe the stock price will be before correction and starts going down? It's going to do this all the time. Today it's quite violent. It's been quite a violent day. Up 14 now, but as high as 76. It was up 19, even more than this. These days are the abnormality days. But for this stock to fluctuate $10, $15 a day going forward now will not be an issue. But with the kind of volume we're seeing here, it's absolutely stunning to notice, this kind of volume. It is just absolutely insane. I'm just double checking something right now, folks. So just pardon me, reloading my my big S iPad to make sure the quote is accurate. These volumes just will not let the stock stop and rest. It's just not going to happen. The stocks are going to do so. It's going to do so much more. The upward pressure on GameStop is going to be relentless. Now showing 155 plus million shares, 58.84. The Dow is down 121. And I've got about 20 minutes to go before I have to say goodbye for this show. By the way, I'm going to be on the air for another hour, but not on this channel. I'm going to be on the air on my other channel, Traveling with Bruce. But on Fridays at 3 o'clock Eastern, I go live for just my sponsor members. I have a sponsor membership group on the other channel, and I do talk stocks there as well, along with what's happening in the cruise business and so on. So if you want to join me for another hour today and you have questions about GameStop or the market, you can certainly join me there, but you need to become a sponsor member of Traveling with Bruce, and that'll run you 33 cents a day. It's a fortune. 33 cents a day is what you got to pay to become a sponsor member of TWB. But you get 2 live shows a week for sponsor members, one on Mondays at 7 o'clock Eastern, and the other one Fridays at 3 o'clock Eastern. I go live twice a week just for sponsor members. And every Monday night at 8 o'clock, I go live on my Traveling with Bruce channel for all to come enjoy. And I will be doing a series of live shows on this channel, Stock Markets with Bruce, going forward as this channel finds its legs. We just broke 1,500 subscribers earlier today. Welcome aboard, all of you who've joined Stock Markets with Bruce in the last couple of weeks. It's great to have you here. Ray and Sue's travel channel are also here tonight. Hey, Bruce, hope you are well. Ray and Sue are here. How you guys doing? Holding till 4:10, Amari says. King, I'm ready for your next tip, Bruce. I got more coming. I'm working on it. Ajith, is the company a massively growing one? It's quite mature, but it's evolving. It's completely evolving. It is completely turning over. It will be quite a different company a year from now. Seth Reagan, what are your feelings about the current market environment? For the first time I can ever recall, I'm hearing analysts say that fundamentals no longer matter as long as the Fed is printing money. Well, it hasn't hurt the market that the Fed is printing. The Fed will print for another year or two, as far as I'm concerned, because the economies are fragile. The US dollar, they're trying to keep it suppressed, so they're going to keep printing cash. Interest rates are very low. The economy has to be given help. Europe is being helped with negative rates. As long as you see that, this will continue. But there comes to a point where you have to buy into fundamentals. Of course, a stock like Tesla, a year ago, people were saying, $200 a share or $80 a share, $40 pre-split, whatever it was trading at a year ago. Even then, they were saying it was overpriced. Well, today, Tesla is $800 whatever a share, trading at $1,500 plus earnings. You think that's trading on fundamentals? No, it's trading on potential. And it's a company that's got, $30 billion cash in the bank through all kinds of fundraising issuances, and they're building factories around the world. That company is a growing company like Amazon was a decade ago. Remember Amazon a decade ago? People were going, why is it trading at these crazy prices? They don't make any money. Everything they make is put back into the business. Yeah, they put it back into the business. And they did a series of fundraisings and kept building out those Amazon warehouses, not just in the USA, but around the world. And now it's a global retail player. They're still growing at that rate. This is what happened at Tesla. this could happen with GameStop. It could. I don't know if GameStop will have a series of warehouses around the world. Will they build a series of warehouses in Australia, Europe to handle additional flows of product? Or are they going to just max out the US North American footprint first? They got a lot of growing to do. GameStop is nowhere near finished growing. And it could be that GameStop will amass so much cash from these possible stock offerings at much higher levels that they might be a takeover outfit. They might be taking over competition to dominate the space. Don't put it past them. These are early days. Amari says it's going to hit $400 a share. Harm one, you got to be crazy. You kidding me? Read about Volkswagen and Tesla, you boomer. What price did you get in at? 400 shares, average of $46 a share. He says, Chris Crowder, I got into GameStop at 36. I'm still holding. Ray, how high do you think game will go? At least 100, but probably more. 150 million shares traded so far today. I think it's 155 to 160. Jay Yag, new here because I know you have the experience. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Shabadoo, it's dipped a bit right now. Do you think it's just a start? 58.37. We've only just begun. The squeeze hasn't even started, says Amari. A lot of paper hands area freaking and selling. Shabadoo, and with the trade halts, some people took this as a signal to unload. Don Patrick, love the insights. Thank you, Don. Dave, good afternoon, Bruce. Fun day for GameStop, at least for those of us who are not in it. Shabadoo, this is such a unicorn opportunity for a restructure. Blaine, one squeeze to 1,000 a share. Dan, I'm long at 38, holding until the shorts are completely busted or GameStop issues more stock. I love to see this. Would love to see 100 on Monday. If it takes a week or two or three, fine. It's fine with me. This thing is a long-term up market for a long time. Chris, GameStop shouldn't issue more stocks. The bears drove down the price by shorting it continuously. Don't give them a break. I'm holding around $40.80. Dan, Redditors and Wall Street bets are actually going to stores and spending money, not being talked about enough. This is the thing. The shareholders the people that are buying the stock of GameStop are many of them are gamers. Many of them are believers in the company itself. It's like Apple shareholders. Virtually every Apple shareholder owns an Apple device or two or three or four. Same with GameStop. There are millions, hundreds of millions of gamers around the world and only 50 odd million shares of GameStop. This is not fully comprehended by the Wall Street analysts out there. They just don't get it. They don't understand there are actually more gamers than actual shares, you see. Where with Apple stock, you've got billions of shares trading and billions of people around the world. With GameStop, you may have 500 million gamers, but there's only 50 odd million shares of GameStop. This is so out of whack. This is why the shorters are going to get completely creamed out. If every gamer of GameStop were to buy 100 shares of stock as a long-term investment, the shares would be 1,000 a share. It's just not enough stock to go around to be long, let alone to be short as well. It's quite amazing. Ryan isn't going to issue more. He says, Chris, I bought something off the website. Laugh out loud. He hates the shorts too, says Amari, as far as Ryan goes. That's good. Dan, spending the money back in the GameStop. Chris, they're running companies. Dan, imagine all the money saved by dropping underperforming stores. The rent alone, GameStop going higher yet with or without a short squeeze. I used to have a store in a shopping mall in Canada a few years ago selling sports stuff, hockey jerseys, caps, mugs with team logos on it. Just down the hall was EB Games, which is owned by GameStop. I had a little tiny 600 square foot store with storage in the back, and the manager would come into my store from time to time because he was of the age to buy hockey jerseys or an NFL jersey or a hat or whatever, because he was a sports guy too. And we would shoot the breeze about, how you doing? How's business? And he would tell me that the GameStop people would tell him, the EB Games managers would tell him that their little store in our shopping mall, where we had stores of 2,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet, this little store had the highest money coming in the front door of any store in the mall. They outsold the jewelry stores. They outsold the women's shoe stores. They outsold the makeup centers. They were the ones bringing in the cash because of all the gamers coming in there all the time. It was just constant traffic. They're now going to change out from the retail side to the e-commerce side. They're going that direction because it's global. You can now buy GameStop merchandise from wherever you are, anywhere you are. You don't have to be in the hometown of the store. You could be anywhere. GameStop is completely changing out. Hey, Bruce from Stephen Farrell. How you doing, Steve? Ray and Sue, so where will this short squeeze end? It'll take months, maybe a year. Olga, Bruce, love hearing you speak. Is this being recorded and playing later? You can watch this on a rerun. This is live right now, and you can watch us on a rerun. I've got about 13 minutes to go, and I got to say goodbye. Chris Crowder, we're going to the moon. Mello bought GameStop 39, sold 245 calls. I'm thinking of buying one call back. Any thoughts? Well, stock's at 60. You gotta do what you gotta do. But buying the stock and selling calls, you're getting a great premium, but you're going to be exercised on the stock the way it looks right now. But like I said, if you buy it and hold it, just sit back and enjoy the show. Harm one, we're all here asking the same question about the squeeze, the price targets. This guy just keeps going on and on about the business. Well, what can I say? I can't tell you for sure what the stock is going to do. I can only indicate to you why it's doing what it's doing, what possibly it could be doing the way it's doing. I think the shares are going higher. That's my prediction. They're going to go higher. Dan, I'd be curious to see if the shorts that expired today we're going to do right before the market close, their hand will be forced. Chris, hold the stock. It's going up. Chris, the business is sound. Dan, could be crazy tonight. Mello, thanks again. Thanks for being on, Bruce. Are you a gamer? No, I'm not a gamer. I don't play video games. I've never really bothered. I'm too old. I'm out of that genre. And because I have 2 YouTube channels, I'm working 12 hours a day on my 2 YouTube channels. This is what I'm all about. I love talking about stock markets with Bruce, traveling with Bruce. This is what I'm all about. And so it's you folks that actually keep me going through watching my ads and making donations to the show and all that. That's how I survive. Jake, Richard, love your contact. Thanks, buddy. Chris, I just subscribed. You're a genius. Thank you. Don't know about that. Ray and Sue's Travel, $60 currently. 155 have traded, 155 million. $60.17 here, Stefan. So should I buy now? Well, you could, but buy whatever money you're using to buy this stock. Just sit on it, put it away, and say to yourself, if I lose half of it, if I lose 3/4 of it, if I double my money, triple money, I'm a happy guy. It's kind of fun. Just make sure it's not rent money. That's all I tell you. Yes, buy now, says Amory. Shibu, volume 3 times the available shares. That's true. Shibu, hey, Dan Patrick. So shorters are seesawing to try to keep the price where it is. Oh, they're desperate to try to keep it where it is. They're trying to get it down. In the old days, again, this is when I was a stockbroker, you could not short stock unless the last price of the shares were lower. It was known as an uptick rule. I don't know if you know what this means, but let's say the stock on GameStop is trading at $60 a share. Back when I was a stockbroker and a customer of mine wanted to short stock, or if I wanted to short stock as a pro trader, I had to get a higher price than the last price of the stock. So if the last share trade was 60, I had to get $60.01 or 2 cents or 5 cents, whatever the spread was. Now, back when I was a broker, this is going back, the spread used to be $0.125 of a dollar. So it was a 12.5 cent difference in price. So the shares used to trade at 60 to 16 1/8, or 60 1/8 to 16 1/4, 16 1/4, 16 3/8. Those were the ranges, all right? So if the shares traded at 60 and I put in an offer at 16 1/8 as a short seller, someone had to come up to get it off of me. I couldn't hit the bid. Not allowed to hit the bid. I was allowed to offer all I wanted at 60 1/8. I could put up a wall of short, but they had to keep coming to me to get it. Where today, this stock is at $60 a share. The short seller can sell at market. He can hit the 60 bid, the 59.99 bid, the 59.98, the 59.95. He can hit bids all the way down, all he or she wants, no limit. This is the difference between an uptick rule and today's market. So if you're a long player or a short player, There are no limits to you and no restrictions as to what prices you can or cannot pay or sell at to get in or out anymore. And of course, with commission-free trading, there are people out there who buy the stock at 59 and sell it at 60. They buy it at 59 and sell it at 59.10. Depends how many shares you can flip at a time. This is going on all the time. That's why there's 150 plus million shares traded, because there's all this turnover going on. But in the mix of all this trading, day trading and minute-to-minute trading, are short sellers who are trying to figure out, is this the high? Is it going to go back to 30? Is it going to go back to 25 next week? If I can get out at 60 and get in at 40, I make $20 a share. On the other side of the coin, people are going, if I get in at 60 and it goes to 80, I make $20 a share. Which way do I want to go? If you're a long trader, you only have one thing to worry about. How low can it go? If you're a short trader, you've got everything to worry about. How unlimited can it go on the upside? Ask Tesla short traders that were short Tesla at a split adjusted $35 a share, and it reached $350. Then it went to $550. Now it's at $850. Ask those guys, how are you doing? There are a lot of shorters out there on Tesla who lost everything. There are shorters right now in trouble on GameStop. Don't let this 59.37 price fool you. There are short sellers hurting right now. Let's get going. I got to go. Diamond Hand says Shabu. Matt, exactly. Dan, diamond stocks only go up. Daniel, you think BBY can do a parabolic next week? I don't know. We'll see. Infinite loss, baby. Mellow, option expiration cause any movements? You never know. Think we'll wait for it to hit something. I don't know what that means. Dan, yay. Curious to see what happens at the close of the expirations. Don't know what happens typically. Jake, Richard is happy. Matt, Cohen hasn't even spoken yet. That's right. He hasn't said a word. GameStop is what it's about. Watch out. I'm scared Jane GameStop offering like stock. I can tell you that Mr. Cohen is not going to offer stock to hurt himself. He's only going to help himself. If the company issues stock at $60 a share, 70, 80, that just lifts the book value of the company. This cash is now in the treasury of the company. That's where it belongs. That could cause the shares to go even higher. It happened with Tesla. Dan saw 3,000 options trade this morning that netted 1 million at the peak. Ken, thoughts on Apple for long-term hold? Yeah, Apple long-term. Jake, why not? AJ Jones loving GME. Jag going like a rocket. Chris, thanks for the great info. Jack going higher. Frederick, can somebody explain why GameStop stock is reaching these heights? Short squeeze, more buyers than sellers. It's just that simple. There's more buyers than sellers, and the sellers haven't got the stock to stop it. Stephen, I cashed out at 72.10 with an average purchase of $19.50. Right on. Think of me, Stephen. Think of me. Chelsea, can you address the premiums for GME? It went from 24 to 13. I'm not sure what you're meaning. Are you talking about option premiums? GME, I am holding, and what with the 3 halts, can't help you there. Probably an imbalance of orders. Hi, Bruce. What's the typical trading volume back when you were working with the brokers? Oh gosh, I remember you used to buy. You had to buy 100 share board lots or more, depending on the price of the stock. It was under $2 a share. You had to buy 1,000 shares. I remember when I was a broker, the minimum commission was $35 in, $35 out. So if you bought 1,000 shares at $1, you had to get $1.03 just to get your commission. You need $1.07 to break even. So if you got in at $1 and out at $1.20, you lost 7 cents in commission. You only made 13 cents. Those are crazy times. And of course, if a stockbroker was writing tickets that only had $35 minimum trades, we got shit for that because the firm was losing money. The brokerage firm needed brokers with $100 ticket averages. So they would tell us as management, eventually I became management, I would tell my brokers, if you're not writing a $3,000 ticket, don't write a ticket. You got a client that's losing this money every time he trades. You need customers with $5,000 and $10,000 and $20,000 at a time to make a go of it. Otherwise, you're not making money, the firm isn't making money, and the customer will never make money with those kinds of commissions eating up that kind of percentage of the trade. Those are those days. Now things have changed. Short, Frederick, Google with Infinity Squeeze. Unbelievable. Robert, great show. Up AMD has more potential. Beetle, owner. Remember to click like for Bruce, everybody. If anybody got thumbs up, you give me thumbs ups today. I'd appreciate it. That would really help this channel. Dave Heinzen, will GME diversify beyond game systems? It's entirely possible. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification icon too. You'll get alerts every time I do a video and I go live. I did a video last night at midnight. You never know when I do another video on GameStop. James, hi Bruce, I got in at 350. I also have an option. Well done, the gamer. So how many gamers are there in the world? According to the study, there are currently more than 2.4 billion gamers, and there's 50 million shares of GameStop. Do the math. GameStop to the moon. Are you hiring brokers to implement these ideas? No, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Blackbird, what is your price target for GameStop? More than 100. That's all I can tell you. Don Sherry, the short squeeze has not even started yet. Game will reach 100 150 next week, 300 to 400 in a couple of months. Could. 400 in a couple of months. Could. Don, we will see a crazy spike after hours in pre-market. It'll be around 80 to 100 before the opening on Monday. 58.53 right now with 5 minutes to go. I'm off the air in 4 minutes. I have to say my goodbyes. I've got to go on Traveling with Bruce to start my sponsor member show. Join me there if you'd like. Become a sponsor member of TWB and join me. Be on for at least an hour over there. Aristocrat, what's the move on game? What's going to happen? Don Sherry, buy shares and hold. Bruce, why don't you invest? I don't want to have any conflicts of interest. I have no conflicts of interest, and I make my living being a presenter. That's how I do it. That's just my way. Blaine, stock markets with Bruce, how do after-hour stock purchases work? Friday to Sunday, they don't. There's a little after Friday, and then there isn't. I bought game at $13. Should I sell? No. Helder, buy game today, or you'll regret it. What else we got here? Do not sell, says Little Spoon. Why were we halted? Probably because of share imbalances. Not enough stock for sale. See you on the other side. Thank you, Sharon. Stevens, stocks only go up. GameStop going to the moon. Chris, guys, Bruce gave a great talk. Make sure you give him a thumbs up at the very least. Thank you for those who give me thumbs up. Any of you making donations to my cause, I do appreciate it very much. PayPal is the way to go there. Chelsea, options, yes. The 3 trade halts are NASDAQ reason code M, volatility, trading pause. It's automatic. Ken, what stock would you invest in for the long except GameStop? Haven't got time to talk to you about that today. You got to join me next time. Dave, Chris, GameStop is New York, not NASDAQ. Do you think the squeeze will continue to 80? This squeeze is going to go on for months. This is not going to be over in an hour or a week. This will go on for a long, long time, and I think it's going to go much higher than this. We've only just begun. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me thumbs ups today. If you can spare them, they're free to hand out. Hand this YouTuber some thumbs ups. I would appreciate it. Thank you, all of you out there who are following my channel. Thank you for subscribing to Stock Markets with Bruce. Come on over to Traveling with Bruce right now if you want to hang out with me live there. We're going to continue on as I talk about this and everything else, and we even play some trivia over there. The Friday 3 o'clock sponsor member show. Guys, thank you. Keep your eye on this channel. I keep uploading videos from time to time, and I will announce another live show in the near future. I invite you to join me. Thank you, guys. Bruce, I'm opening a trading account with Quest Trade. Are they okay? Any better? Can you? Nothing wrong with those guys. They're all right. Thanks, Bruce, says Gamer. Thanks, buddy. Dave, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this stream. And Ishan says thank you. Okay, guys, take care. James, thanks. We'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend. Keep an eye on the channel. We'll do this again real soon. It's been a lot of fun. Bye for now.